welcome back to week 4, day number 3, last day of the week here at the Mobafire Challenger Series. I am Rapid, and joining me once again is Meteos, the jungler for Cloud9. It's good to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Sweet, that was the correct answer. I'm pretty sure that means you win something, but I'm not completely sure, so I'm not in charge of the gift giving. But keep in mind, we are going to have a giveaway as the night goes on. It is our prize night, so it's going to be a Razer keyboard giveaway for our subscribers. So if you want to be entered into that, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. And because there aren't a lot of you guys, you actually have a much better chance of being chosen for that if you do go ahead and subscribe. I actually got kicked out of the lobby, so I'm going to join back in here if I can. This is quite troll, if I do say so myself. Getting back in there. All right, cool. We're good to go. Apparently, a few other people got kicked out too. That's pretty cool. But all right, I'm back in. The teams are back in. We're ready to go. Second game of the night, and picks and bans would be pretty cool too. So, told the teams to go, and we're underway. There we go. All right, into game number 2. Now, this is Gold Gaming Los Angeles taking on the guys from Reality Check Gaming. And now Reality Check have had a little bit of an interesting time here in the MCS. They came out and actually picked up a couple wins early on, but are actually 2-5 currently. So it's a little bit rough to deal with. And keep in mind, they're going up against Gold Gaming Los Angeles, who are actually 3-4. And so 3-4, it's a little bit of a better score, but still both around the same areas, just one more win and one more loss respectively. So getting here into the second game, I mean, Gold Gaming Los Angeles, it was a team formed by Umashi. He actually kind of left the team, and now it's Ultima Zero in that top lane. And if you've ever played against Ultima Zero, then he's an Akali monster. He actually did play Akali in MCS before. But it'll be interesting to see what he decides to bring out tonight. How about you, Meteos? Have you ever seen these guys? I guess you've probably played against some of these guys in solo queue, right?
I've played against a few of them. I actually used to be on a team with Yulan back in the day when we were on Team Normal Stars. We played together a little bit, so I'm friends with him. And I don't really know anyone else too well.
Yeah, Yulan back in the days. Hashtag rest in peace, short dog. It was a long and happy memory. But, all right, so X Shepard hovering over Mordekaiser. The secret here is that X Shepard actually does play a lot of Mordekaiser. Usually plays mid lane, but has been going top lane, kind of switching things up with tofu shifts. But yeah, this is where things get really, really interesting, because the hidden secret to Reality Check is that in both of the games they won, Tofu Shift plays Ryze. This guy is an amazing Ryze player. He's carried super hard for RXG, and that's the first lock-in right off the bat. But this is patch 3.10, and there have been some pretty interesting changes to Ryze. I mean, there were some interesting flavor text in the patch notes that said, that Ryze just wanted to get in closer, up close and personal people to bash them in the face with his spells, when really they kind of nerfed him down pretty hard. They went ahead and took away a lot of range from his spells, so he has to get in there and really make use of the tankiness instead of just A, having range, and B, being tanky at the same time. So it's a little bit more fair in that regard, but they did give him a huge movement speed buff. He gets 60 movement speed as soon as he hits his ultimate, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that works out with all these Ryze changes. And who better to watch than Tofu Shift, who's pretty much the god of Ryze here on RXG. But we've got the picks to start to come out. It's going to be a lock-in on, once again, and Elise getting taken away, even though those nerfs have been coming down. Still actually a pretty strong champion coming out there for Ultima Zero. At least he's going to grab that away. And Elise Sin taken down by Wappa Chang. We're going to see a Misfortune in this team composition. Now, you don't see Misfortune much anymore. I know you're a jungle player, but as far as team compositions go, have you actually seen any, I mean, do you guys still run Misfortune? Is there a reason that champion isn't chosen much anymore?
Misfortune?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of the other AD carries are stronger than her now, but she definitely has a place if they want to run an AoE team comp. So...
I mean, if you're going for AoE team comp, you don't really go for like Lee Sin and
yeah, that's what I was looking at. It's kind of a weird AoE team comp, because generally a jungler you'd want with MF is Jarvan, because you kind of trap them in the Cataclysm and then use bullet time on them. So it might have been a takeaway from the purple side, because I don't really know what they play, and they picked it kind of early, so it could have been a takeaway pick, or maybe they have a team comp plan for it.
Yeah, Shinon, he's actually kind of known more for his Ezreal than Caitlyn, but he has at least 200 games of each of those this season, so he's pretty well practiced on that. And with Caitlyn, you can actually go for a few interesting things. You see a Zyra support, so that will probably be Nunu jungle, taken away there by Bubba and we don't actually see Nunu jungle all that much anymore. Is there a reason for that, Meteos? Because for a while there, he was just always pick or ban.
Oh yeah, that champion's really annoying. In 3.9, he was nerfed a little bit, or well, where's patch right after? I don't know. Whatever patch was right after one where he was OP, he got nerfed.
Yeah.
And his consume damage was lowered a little bit. So usually you don't max consume that early, so it pretty much stays at 500 damage all game, which slows your clear down by a lot. When you take 100 damage off a spell, you need to spam to clear.
Yeah.
So he was nerfed in that regard, and he's just a really annoying champion. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad he's not played anymore, but I guess these guys want to run him still. He's okay, but I think also with this patch, shifting the XP off the buff onto the little ones will also hurt Nunu because he can't do the trick 2G style of just flash consuming a buff and then running away.
Yeah, that's actually a really big change to that. They didn't want you to just have your buff stolen away and then all that XP going over and you were left with, two little minions that you had to clear. It was super annoying, didn't give you anything, so I'm not going to be seeing quite that same effectiveness. You can't just like flash away after you steal away a buff because you won't have level 2, you won't have that blood boil, which is a real thing about Nunu. Like he could steal your buff, get level 2, and then blood boil away, and you couldn't really chase him that much early on because, I mean, you didn't start with boost or anything like that. I mean, you can start with boost, but probably won't be seeing any of that, at least for this game. We do have the final lineups locked in for both teams. We didn't actually talk too much about the way that this was going to work out. I mean, we talked a little bit about the AoE, but it's support Morgana from Bunny Fufu, and that would work well with an AoE team comp, but really there's not that much AoE going out from the rest of them. But over on the purple team, that's Reality Check Gaming, actually have a little bit of a, I don't know, I don't actually see a whole lot of synergy between these two teams. Is there anything that you see that I'm missing, Meteos?
I don't see that much synergy, like you said. I guess on the purple side, they have pretty good AoE knockup and then a strong back line with Ryze kills Caitlyn. That's kind of 3 range, and then they have Nunu Zyra, which if you saw the Vulcan versus C9 game, we used that against them when we were super far behind. And it's actually incredibly good zone control. It's really hard to get to the carries when you're laying down the Zyra ult and Nunu ult. So I guess that's sort of their plan. And for the blue side, I don't really understand the team comp. It must just be comfort picks for them. So those champions don't particularly go well together.
Yeah, also the support Morgana. I mean, I know Lemonation plays support Nasus and Fiddlesticks and a bunch of weird stuff, but is he ever like, hey guys, I really want to play that support Morgana?
We don't really run support Morgana. I guess the Black Shield is for MF, so he can channel his ult uninterrupted, but I guess we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. When you want to see how something goes, that's kind of code for it doesn't really seem like it's gonna work out. But if it does, hey, that's super cool. So I don't know what we're gonna see here from GGLA, but well, that's why we actually have the game, so we get to watch that. So we are going to go into the game here in just a second, but first we're going to have a little bit of a commercial break. And I do want to shout out to our sponsors, iBuyPower, Razor Academy, and Fatality Gaming Gear. We'll be having some giveaways from them later on during the show, but for now, stick around. We'll be right back with our second game of the day, or of the night rather. It's going to be GGLA taking on Reality Check Gaming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mobafire Challenger Series. I am Rapid. With me is Cloud9's Meteos. I do want to give a quick shout out to them and to him for coming on to the show tonight. You can go check out cloud9.gg if you want to check out any of their amazing, they do like blogs, info posts, and also have their store there where you can buy tons of sexy Cloud9 memorabilia if you want to hop on the hype train. So head on over to cloud9.gg, and I do want to thank them once again for lending us the support of their jungler Meteos, because I mean, casting by myself would be pretty cool, but it doesn't get much more cooler. Wow, my grammar is #1, by the way. So I'll just shut up now. So we're getting into the game. It's the second game of the night. It's Gold Gaming Los Angeles in the blue, coming out of the bottom left-hand corner of Summoner's Rift, going up against Reality Check Gaming. They are coming down in the red, and getting things started off with a pause. This is pretty much the only way to start games here at MZS. We're having a little bit of apparently a bug with the league client, but easily resolved, and fastest pauses NA, getting right back out onto the Rift. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to live, and I think they actually might have fixed that bug with spectators, so that's actually pretty cool. I'm going to go down for some early level 1s. I guess I should turn this over to you, Meteos. So what do you think of these teams level 1s? Is there one team that really has like an advantage in that?
Let me see. I would probably give the advantage to GGLA because they have a lot of catch. They've got Ari Charm, Morgana Bind, and Elise could start her Cocoon if she really wanted to, but I don't think that's necessary. Just those two alone. Morgana Bind is what, a 2-second CC level 1? So
yeah,
that's huge in a level 1 fight. As opposed to, I guess the purple side's level 1's not that bad, but their CC is really short. Rise Snare is, I think, 0.75, and so is Zyra's, so they won't really be able to catch anyone. I give it to the blue side.
Yeah, they maybe have like slow from, you know, if you want to start Ice Blast on Nunu, but like nobody would really ever do that. That's like it's like starting Bandage Toss on Amumu to get a level 1 fight. You kind of screw yourself over. But we already see a late invade. War placed there in the brush. GGLA will be spotted out there by RXG. They're coming around the side, but a huge bait there. Buddy Poo-Poo gonna take front of the damage. The Dark Binding does land on a Pragmatic. Gets locked up, but he's gonna have going in there. That is gonna be X Shepherd picking up the first kill. We're gonna see the repel from Elise, but nowhere to go. Tries to flash the wall, fails to flash. That is somewhat unfortunately. The flash is over the wall. The follow-up. Double kill comes out from X Shepherd, and I deliberately asked these questions to Meteos so that can have the wrong answer, but even still, a 2 for 4 definitely going in favor there. RXG, the baits are too strong, as that 2 kills going over to X Shepherd is gonna go back, have boots, double Dorian's rings. So a little bit of an interesting way to build that Kale, but he's going to be heading up to the top lane. Will most likely be facing up against Ultima Zero, who, I mean, had a little bit of a rough repel there. What went so wrong for GGLA in that fight?
That was pretty rough. Pretty much, they just face check. That's all it really is. Regardless of how good your level 1 is, if you walk into a team where they see you and you don't see them, you're going to lose the fight straight up. They got hit by I think it was a 5-man Zyra root and a Pillar Peacemaker pretty much before the fight even started, so they were like pretty screwed just off that. And now they're also down almost all their summoner spells. They had 4 deaths level 1, and Elise had to start her E, which is Cocoon Repel, so that won't help her at all in lane. So it's going to be a really, really rough early game for GGLA.
Yeah, Ultimate Zero, like you mentioned there, with that Cocoon, he's going to be going up against that double Doran's Ring, and it's a 9 utility build there from X Shepherd on Kale. It's a little bit of an interesting take on that. Did still put some points in offense, so it has that magic penetration as well as armor penetration. So going down far enough in the offense tree, probably did pick up 21 points there and got the dual penetrations. Wappa Chang, though, going in for the red steal, gonna be able to take that one away. And a little bit interesting there because Pragmatic only has a blue buff, so that's he's gonna be kind of sad. The Nunu, unfortunately, being the one that gets counter juggled top lane, though. X Shepherd's gonna go the long way around, walks through the turret. Wappa Chang does not have a ward, so he can't like hop over the wall. It's gonna be Ultima Zero, X Shepherd trying to battle each other out. Ultima Zero, one more auto attack to pick up the kill, throws it down, and X Shepherd will get the kill. He's gonna have to battle out Wappa Chang there, throws down the slow, tries to get away. He's actually faster, but the flash in there, one more auto attack, the red buff down onto X Shepherd. Gonna run in a straight line, but the Q comes out. Wappa Chang picks up the kill. So a nice trade there. It was 1 for 1, so I guess making the best out of a bad situation. But very aggressive play there by Lee Sin, but gonna come down here to help out that Ari. Really, do you actually go that aggressive as Lee Sin when you're going up against a Nunu, or do you play more offensively because you expect to get your buff stolen?
Well, they didn't have a lot of words, so it's kind of hard to say what you want to do in the beginning. I'm not actually sure if he saw that Nunu level 2 ganked bot before he went for the red, but either way, it was a smart play by Lee Sin. Nunu kind of reacted slowly to it though, because he level 2 ganked bot, and he forced MF the recall, and so that would be a free red still for him, because there's no way the bot lane of GGLA could respond to it. So Lee Sin did get something for free there, but then he sort of baited his Elise to die when he ganked top. So I think that the purple side came out ahead.
Well, I mean, Fragnatic's still gonna get that red buff off, so I mean, it's you know, still pretty free, but a little bit of a rough situation there for that top lane, because I don't know, that kill going out a little bit rough, because X Shepard, I mean, he already had one kill, he's going for the second one. An excellent bait there. Ultimate Zero knows that he's a little bit vulnerable. A Q lands, damage down onto X Shepard, Ignite goes down as well, no flash, but it's just gonna be the Q coming out, the heal, the potion running. X Shepard, 40 HP survival, man, that's rough. I mean, especially as a jungler, when you invest that much into that gank and you get away with just a little bit of HP, that's basically just all that time that you spent going in for the gank that you've now wasted. How do you recover if you know your ganks aren't that successful and you just go back in the jungle and farm things out, or do you try to make a play elsewhere?
It's hard when you're behind as a jungler. You can either just farm things out.
I'd hate to interrupt you, but apparently walking under a turret is a pretty important thing to do. Dark Biting lands again. Bunny Fufu, man, right on point with the cleansing off both the stun and the exhaust. So probably not what Shinon was, or good play by Shinon though. The Dark Bindings, man, Bunny Fufu right on point with those, but unfortunately, stacking the CCs down there was really rough. Shinon got a nice cleansed off, cleansing off two things at once, and was able to pick up the kill on Ulam. But yeah, so after all of that, I guess I want to turn things back over to you.
So yeah, when you're behind, pretty much the only way you can get back into it is either by them messing up, or you have to take a huge risk, basically. And as Lee said, he keeps ganking top, hoping that he can snowball the lane back. And if it works, it's really good, but if it doesn't work, then he'll pretty much just snowball onto himself even more. So it just depends how well they can make the ganks work. And now that KL's 6, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, level 6 scale, 2 levels, now only 1 level up above Ultimate Zero. Does have some pretty crazy itemization. But what we just watched there in the mid lane was a crazy outplay by Tofu Chef. You actually got dove under turret, he was a little bit overextended, but he actually got the flash rune prism off, not within turret range, but it did force the spirit rush out of the turret range by easy. Didn't actually land that damage and was able to get that snare for the kill and the damage trade off of what was looking like a pretty dead Tofu Chef, able to turn that around with the flash ignite, so getting the job done in that lane. But I mean, even after that 4-for-2 start to the game, you can see RSG, they're kind of coming back 7-6. Now the kill advantage there, but not quite as much as it used to be. You can see kills picked up there in that bottom lane, 2 for each laner down there. So I mean, things not as bad as they were when the game started, that's for sure. Fragnatic gonna wait into this top bush with Kale, comes on out, throws down the blood boil. This is gonna be a pretty strong push up there. Ultimate Zero back in base. Gonna lose a lot of early XP on this tower. It's still gonna have a little bit of bonus armor that does decay at 8 minutes into the game. That's gonna take a lot of damage, and you can see even Wappa Chain coming up a bottom lane. The Dark Binding lands again. Double up coming out there onto Bubba Dub. He's gonna chunked out there, a couple hundred HP for him. Top lane turret taken down to about half HP. Minion wave runs out, so won't be taken down just yet. See maybe a little bit of that extra armor helping that out. So I guess you know, going into this game, we see Tofu Chef place down some wards. It started to turn around, started to get a little bit more even. See Easy able to pick up his own blue buff, and you know, things kind of back in control. You know, the game started out a little bit one-sided with that invade, but this actually kind of looking a little bit even. Do you think there are still some like latent remnants of the strength that invade gave you, or are things still going pretty in favor of RXG?
Well, GGLA has actually done a really good job of getting back into the game. They've been making a lot of plays, and I don't think the other team has been really playing as careful as they need to, because when you have a lead, you don't really have to go for super crazy trades and stuff like that, which I guess the bot lane's going for and losing. So it's definitely evening back up, but the lanes still sort of win on their own. Kale has a ton of CS up on Elise, and even Ryze, oh, I guess he's down in CS now, but yeah, I think that kill will still be an issue, because he's pretty fed.
Yeah, get those 2 kills into double Doran's rings very early on. You can also see those cooldown boots, Ionian boots of Lucidity picked up there for X Shepard. He's really sort of the anchor of the team right now, 3-1-2, and like you mentioned, that CS lead, about doubling up at least in CS. That's going to be a little bit painful as the game progresses. Even the bottom lane there for GGLA, support Morgana Man. I didn't expect that, but hey, Bunny Fufu is making the plays 3-1-1. Taking away more kills, went double gold per 10 items. That's a little bit greedy, but now picking up the Ruby Crystal for Sightstone and getting some wards there as well. I don't know. I expected the carry from MF, but Bunny Fufu is definitely making those plays.
Yeah, their bot lane's definitely playing really well.
I did not expect that, but Bunny Fufu, you can see him coming back in the lane. Usually you will see supports go for the Sightstone first. It's just a very, very strong item. Snare lands or taunt there on to Toku Shift would be enough to keep him a little bit humble there under the turret. The poke from Ari really getting the better of Rise and having kind of a rough matchup in that lane. Gonna be getting a blue buff for himself. Now Rise itemization, it's a little bit different. You see him still go for the Catalyst build along with the Tear of the Goddess. But he's going to go Rod of Ages, won't have the Banshee's Veil as an option because they kind of took all the mana off of that item, and so it's really kind of a situational buy if you just really need that MR. But Black Shield and that Snare landed down there by Bundy Fufu will avoid all that CC and get out alive, getting the information. Think Ward, though, going to allow Fragnatic to take out the ward coverage there for RXG around the Dragon. Top lane, though, the damage comes out, Cocoon comes out as well, but X Shepard landing on the pressure top lane will most likely be able to take that turret out on this wave. Just going to kind of tank things up there for now as Ultima Zero going back to base. And so overall, we're going to see a gank down bottom lane. Wappa Chang getting slowed out there. Ice Blast comes out, but not able to, still able to get it out. There's the CC coming out. Ultimate channeled by Fragnatic, not able to get down a whole lot of damage. The Q goes out, lands on the Bubba Dub. That's going to signal Ulam and channel the ultimate. Will pick up a kill there onto Fragnatic. Bubba Dub taken down as well. And off the back of that, a double kill for Ulam. I don't know how this works out, but the Q lands forward. Wappa Chang again goes back in, picks up a third kill. I don't know if
that was really well played.
That was a crit to pick up the kill. Wappa Chang, let me go do a little quick check-in here on the runes. There is a 1% crit chance rune for Wappa Chang. He went in there, slapped Shinon in the face, picked up the kill with a 1% crit chance. That's pretty troll.
That is pretty troll, but that was really well played by GGLA. I think it was a little bit too forced by Reality Check because I think the Zyra all completely missed. It didn't get the knockup, and then Nunu flash ulted, so they were kind of asking to lose that fight.
Yeah, and then the crits add insult to injury. It's just like, okay, at that point you kind of just walk back on out. So now kill advantage turned around, and actually gold advantage too to GGLA. Dragon though gonna try to turn that back around. It's pretty much the entire team, everybody showing up there. Shinon in the back as well. Dragon will go down, and one change that I've seen here is that Atlanta actually used to be the AD for Reality Check Gaming, but kind of turned around and picked up Shinon instead. Having some issues this game, and now 1-2-4 up against the 4-1-4. Misfortune starting to get that MF itemization. Bloodthirster down. I'd actually go for Black Cleaver, but I see a lot more Last Whispers nowadays with some pretty tanky itemization out there. But I don't know. We're starting to see not only the game turn around, but at least a lot of strength in lanes that I didn't expect, especially that bottom lane. GGLA starting to kind of win things out there. You see a lot of pressure in the other lanes as well. It's kind of an interesting build from X Shepard too. He went Wit's End after double Doran's rings and Ionia Boots of Lucidity. So, I mean, I guess that's the new Kale build. I'm not well aware of how you play your Kales nowadays, but I guess that's it. Interesting itemization nonetheless.
Yeah, I think his thought process by that might be to just stack flat penetration with Rise, because the Rise E reduces your MR, and I guess Wit's End will too, and then they'll do a ton of damage if they're focusing the same person. That's all I really got for that.
I guess you get armor and MR shred from X Shepard's passive, the Holy Fervor. It shreds 3% for auto attack and stacks 5 times. Gonna get the Smite steal away. Fragnatic is kind of saying Ultima Zero, you probably don't want to be here. Goes for the repel, doesn't have anywhere to go, tries to flash away, blows the flash, but won't get out alive. And it's going to be Fragnatic able to actually steal away the Wolf Camp as well. So, it's a pretty nice invade there by X Shepard and Fragnatic. Do you think there's a way that GGLA should have played that better, or they do the best they could?
I don't think they should have gone for it if you can't get it. It's kind of a simple concept, but a lot of people don't do that.
Ulam actually going for the ultimate channel. The turret flash out from Bubba keeps him alive, but the rise damage traded out underneath that turret. Chunking down Ulam to half HP as a Bloodthirster, so be able to heal that up off the next wave. But I gotta say, the pressure from this bottom lane actually really keeping GGLA in this, able to turn around that turret push and actually turn it into a turret push, as that will be the second turret, first middle turret, taken down by Gold Gaming Los Angeles. I mean, there's a pretty big wave for Shinon to farm up there in the bottom lane, but he won't be present for this push down in the mid lane. You can see just the skill shot pressure, all that CC, the catch potential, so big from GGLA. It gives them a pretty big zone there against any sort of turret defense coming out from RXG, but still the pressure in that top lane. Kale going to work on that turret. Not a whole lot Ultima Zero can do.
Yeah.
I don't have enough lanes though.
That lane's not very fun for Elise when you're that behind.
No, sure.
All right, so I mean, we don't actually see that same sort of duo lane pressure. You don't have just like Lee Sin sitting in up there. Actually decided to kind of forego the losing lane, head down bottom lane, said, hey, this lane's winning, they're pretty strong, I'm going to try to get that snowball rolling. And actually a really good job by Wapachang going down there and kind of getting that down. Is that the jungle methodology? Just like you have a lane that's like really far behind, you just kind of like stack that lane and go try to make one of your lanes that's winning win even harder?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do. If you go to a losing lane, there's always the risk that their jungler shows up too, and if you're already losing the lane, you're probably not going to win a 2v2 unless you're super fed somehow. So it's definitely a lot safer to try to force plays in the winning lane,
and
which is what they've been doing, and it's working out really well for them. The MF's pretty fed.
Yeah, 4-1 and 4. You've seen those bullet times just channeled out there, really making them think twice. But there's a little bit of a difference in AD carry atomization. You got Bloodthirster down there for Misfortune, but an Infinity Edge finally farmed up there for Shinon's Kaelin. And you know, Infinity Edge, it's the higher single target burst damage kind of item, but for Misfortune, you're really just looking for raw flat AD. I mean, if you're Genja, you just stack as many Bloodthirsters as you want, but probably will only see one out here from Ulam. You just want to get as much AD as possible and then just blow everything apart and you go for those bullet times and team fights. RXG group it up. They're going to get the Blood Boil down there onto Caitlyn, pushing down this middle lane. Going to force the convergence here from GGLA and try to get this, try to stop this push out. The taunt actually lands. Charm onto Tofu Shift. Dark Binding rather will not land, and that's Fragnetic. Shinon actually able to take out that middle turret. Give the turret lead to Fragnetic and company on RXG. Now all outer turrets are down for RXG right now. So if you're GGLA, that's gonna mean that's or if you're RXG, it gives you a lot of map pressure. Is there something you do as a jungler when your team may be having some issues in some lanes? Now that you've taken down all outer turrets, maybe it's more of a team thing. What do you do in that situation once you take down the last outer turret?
Well, once you take out all 3 turrets, you can start pushing into their jungle, and you want to start getting a lot of pink wards to deny them vision. And you just really want to time everything at that point. You time their reds, their blues, the dragon, and you basically you have more stuff to farm, because you can farm your jungle, their jungle, and the lanes very aggressively. And if you get all the objectives, you should win the game. But obviously that's very hard to execute perfectly, and people make mistakes all the time. So as the losing side, you need to capitalize on any mistake that the side's head makes.
Yeah, now
obviously when you're in their jungle, there's more risk that if you get caught, you have farther run back to your base.
And that's exactly what happened to Bubba Dub right there. You went in there for the clear on the pink ward, couldn't get it, and wound up getting taken out there. So nice convergence there. GGLA really kind of you know, stopping that that whole strategy. You can see pink wards are out for RXG. They recognize, hey, we got the turrets down, pink ward things up. They have literally 4 pink wards and a nice little arc there through the jungle. And so that part is going great, but Bubba Dub a little bit overextended, and a great job by GGLA. They're really, you know, even though they're a little bit farther behind having all their outer turrets down, they're making the plays where it counts. They're really good at capitalizing on the weaknesses. Every time RXG maybe steps a little bit out of line, they're right there to pick up the kill. And great job by them taking out Bubba Dub. And keep in mind, oh, the Q's continuing to land the insect on to Shinon. Kale ultimate will save out a lot of the damage, and the AoE from Fragnetic just gonna go ahead and you know, keep that away. It's like you know, peace. You better get on out of my AD carry. Tofu Shift's gonna be down there as well. It's the ultimate channel. Dragon here is gonna be contested. GGLA gonna go for that to disengage, actually not backing off of it. Yeah, there we go. Backing on out. Black Shield down, but a huge ultimate channel by Ulam. Full damage burst from Rise, forced to flash away from that. Tofu Shift flashing into the Dragon Pit, still able to get off some damage. Shields on out onto Ulam, but can't really get back into the fight. A lot of damage down there from Easy and Ultimate Zero, actually, the one with the double kill. Throws down the Cocoon, lands onto X Shepard, really going for the kill. The DFG, Easy, back in there for an equally easy kill. Now it's Ultimate Zero going in there, picking up Bubba Dub right off the back of that. GGLA completely turning this around. The damage, the initiation. Easy goes right into a trap, won't be enough damage. Not AP Caitlyn, unfortunately enough, but the follow-up and ace off the back of that. Gold Gaming Los Angeles just playing that dragon fight absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, they play that really well, and that's really good for them because they were actually losing in gold now, and now they won a fight 5 for 2, 3, something like that.
5 for 2, yeah.
5 for 2, and they got the dragon, so that's a huge swing for them.
Yeah, and really getting that global objective gold, just barely setting them ahead in gold count by just like 900 gold. So you can tell they were pretty down by a lot. They picked up 5 kills, a global objective that gives, you know, gold to all 5 members of your team. So the sort of ambient gold that just got given over to GGLA is actually pretty huge. You can see they all went back with about 1,000 gold in their pockets, and Miss Fortune actually will be going for the last Whisper build, but looking for some Berserker Greaves there in the meantime. So she's actually pretty stacked for itemization. You can see the difference in gold between the 80 carries. It's going to be about 1,000 right now, and just now it's picking up that last Whisper going back to base. Miss Fortune is going to be dealing a lot of damage, but a pretty good focus on that team fight for RXG. Tofu Shift got in there and just blew Ulam apart. Like, he had to flash out of the fight, and after channeling that ultimate, Ulam just had to piece the scene. So, I mean, not allowing the most fed member of the team to actually be all that effective in team fights, Tofu Shift is playing a really key role here. And he's actually got that Rise itemization, looking for Seraph's Embrace after about 150 left on that Seraph's to charge up Archangels. A Rod of Ages stacking up too, so that's going to be working for him as well. And like I mentioned, Infinity Edge looking for a Zeal coming out next on Shine On. So, I mean, the itemization's there. They just need to actually get the CS, get those items out, maybe play this team fight a little bit more, a little bit differently, because going into that Dragon, the KO was actually burned by X Shepard to actually protect Shine On after he got jumped on by Wappa Chang. So without that KO ultimate, that actually gave GGLA a couple of big opportunities that they might not have in the next fight. So could definitely go either way. This looks like Wappa Chang will be kind of bodyguarding Ulam, push out that top lane. RXG put on a lot of pressure around Baron. Do you think that's, even though they have their own outer turrets taken down, I mean, they're pressuring Baron pretty hard. They're pressuring the lanes a lot right now. They were behind. Do you think that's really just a result of them having won that dragon fight?
Well, after that dragon fight, GGLA has a huge power spike right now. They finished Aegis, which gives them the MR aura, which really helps with the flat penetration I was talking about earlier from Rise and Kale. They also finished Abyssal Scepter, which is another huge aura because it's basically like an anti-Aegis. It's minus 20 MR from the whole team. And then they have plus 20 MR too, so that's actually huge for team fighting. And that finished last Whisper too, and Ahri has DFG, so they're really strong right now. And they don't necessarily outscale, so they're really going to want to force as many plays as they can while they're stronger.
The CC down there underneath the turret, there's going to be the damage. Ultimates are channeled by Ulam. Q lands from Wappa Chang, going back in, picks up 1 kill. The follow-up kill does not have the Q, but he's just taking up the turret so Ulam can run back through. Does not have that strut up. He's actually going to turn around, kill the turret. The Q lands for Wappa Chang. Does he want to go in? Picks up another kill. Easy coming up there, roaming up there off the back of that. The turnaround, man. GGLA with excellent follow-up. They are going to lose their secondary middle turrets, so RXG pushing down the middle lane. I mean, there's turret kills happening on both teams, but who do you think actually won out on that? As you know, RXG were able to push and take a turret, but a lot of kills picked up once again for GGLA.
Yeah, that's hard to say who came out ahead. I think that GGLA would have came out ahead if they played it a little bit better. They could have definitely got the second top tier tower instead of recalling. MF and Lee Sin recalled when only one of them had to defend, or even none of them. They could have kept pushing. So it was really even due to that.
I mean, Easy was able to take out that turret eventually, so maybe just like...
So he got it, so I guess they did come out a little bit ahead.
All right, so that will be you know, the counter turret kill, and he's still up in gold, or up in kills, and I guess up in gold as well. A couple thousand gold in their advantage. But I think the big deal to notice right now is that you know, turrets, they're even across the board. So while we were talking about how GGLA had all their outer turrets taken early on, now it's not only all outer turrets, but evening things up, taking out 2 in that top lane. And the kill advantage with that huge power spike like you were talking about, Meteos. So 6, 1, and 7. They're on that Miss Fortune. Going for Infinity Edge next. She's just stacking on as much AD as possible. This next team fight, if she can get off a huge ultimate, then that's kind of game over for the team fight. But, I mean, they still have the Kale ultimate. X Shepard going to be huge in this next fight to really protect their high priority targets. But even though he's 6, 3, and 2, kind of the same score there as Miss Fortune. The flash in there, the engage on the bumper dump. Kale ultimate fully countering that out. That was pretty man mode from Easy, but a nice ultimate there from X Shepard to save things out. Do you actually think that that turns around this next fight? I mean, Ahri ultimate and Kale ultimate are down. Do you think that actually gives the advantage to one team or another?
I'm pretty sure that gives the advantage to Reality Check Gaming because Ari is really relying on her ult. Oh, actually, I guess.
Yeah, until suddenly Misfortune ult, but there's the judge jump in from Wappa Chang. The guy's going man mode, gets taken out. It's a little bit overextension. Ultimate Zero going down as well, and a little bit too heavy in on the engage.
That is not what they wanted to do right there. Reality Check could definitely pressure Baron right now if they wanted to because Elise and the jungler are dead, and Ari has no ult, so they're not really in a position where they can fight.
And you know, I'd expect them to at least drop down some ward coverage over there. There is a pink ward there placed onto Baron, but actually pretty low. I mean, Rise down to 3,400 HP. Fragnatic chunked down to his last 1,000, and it's actually easy getting down the snare. Now, where did GGLA come up with these plays, just getting picks right and left? That's literally the second time that Bubba Dove's gotten sniped out there by GGLA, and I guess that kind of throws the Baron pressure the other way, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a pretty greedy place to recall. He should have backed up a little farther. I don't know if they can necessarily get Baron pressure off that because it's just a support kill. Generally, you get Baron pressure if you can kill the jungler.
Black Shield on easy, really saving him out there. Double slows coming in from not only the Ice Blast, but also you saw Shepard throw down the Reckoning, but was unable to reckon there with that Black Shield. As is GGLA rotating around to Dragon. This is a pretty big turnaround. Not only evening up the evening up the gold count, evening up the turret count, but also taking down the second Dragon in a row for GGLA. They're really having a lot of dominant pressure on these buffs now. They have that ward control over Baron, so it was kind of safe to go down there for Dragon. But after recalling for all these items, I mean, is there really anywhere they should go? I mean, do they push down turrets or do they pressure Baron in this situation?
I think GGLA should try to push. They need to do something because they definitely get outscaled by a blood boiled Caitlyn will do a lot more than a MF against the Rise will do. The Rise will eventually get strong enough to just walk up and kill MF. She doesn't have the range, so I'm fairly confident that Reality Check's team comp will outscale. So GGLA needs to just keep making plays, try to keep their vision advantage, pick people off, and then capitalize on any mistake that Reality Check makes.
And they've actually done a really good job at doing that, getting a couple picks on the Bubba Dub. And but like you were talking about, the scaling here for Reality Check is pretty monstrous. The MR shred stacking from Kayle, from Rise is, I mean, anytime you're shredding resistances, it's always going to scale really well. So when you get that, especially from X Shepard, he had a huge play early on to get those early couple of kills. Now he's actually 7-3-3, starting to get some pretty decent itemization. Not sure if he's going to be going, either Lichbane or Deathcap next, but either way, that's going to be a lot of damage in the fight. And really, he's kind of the anchor man for RXG right now. GGLA, they're clearing out the Baron Pit. They're establishing control of that objective, at least for now. But like they might want to wait around the corner, waiting for Tofu Shift to maybe overpush. But he's not channeling his inner Bubba Dub. He's not gonna quite overextend just that much. I guess it's actually, I don't know, somewhat even right now. There's strengths on both teams, but for GGLA, their real strength is that positioning. They basically just, I don't know, they have this way of catching out every single time RXG try to go for something a little bit greedy, like either a recall positioning or clearing out wards. They're just able to capitalize on that, and coming up in this next fight, they're definitely gonna have to, or at least RXG, gonna have to avoid getting caught out for that. Waves pushing in favor of GGLA in every single lane, and I mean, once you go to these lanes, once you push everything out for your team, is that when you pressure objectives, or do you push waves to take turrets instead?
Oh my god. Holy fuck.
Yeah, if you want to take an objective, you should definitely push out the wave first. That just makes it infinitely easier because you can deny them creeps on the tower, etc.
All right, so I mean, they went ahead and pushed out their lanes. Now they're over here around the Baron area. I'm actually thinking that the positioning here for RXG, I mean, if you're RXG, you obviously said, Blood Boil Caitlyn's going to do a lot of damage. How do you position for this upcoming fight, given that, I mean, A, the red side, and B, there's a lot of pressure around this Baron area?
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of an awkward point in the game where all GGLA is trying to do is catch people with Morgana Blind, Ahri Charm, and then Elise Cocoon. And then RXG, I guess, is just trying to farm it out. So it's going to be whoever does a better job of either on GGLA hitting their catch and then on Reality Check dodging the catch. So that'll probably determine who wins the next fight.
All right, so really until that time, we're just gonna see kind of a passive, boring farm game. So this is where we tell you to follow Cloud9 on Twitter at Cloud9GG and follow Medias at what is it? Is it at Medioslol?
Yeah, it's Medios LOL.
All right, there we go. So Twitter plugs out there for Cloud9 because they're basically amazing. Top place in the LCS, so congratulations on that, and good luck next upcoming weeks. Who do you actually play this week in LCS?
We play Dignitas tomorrow, and then we play Curse and Velocity on Friday.
Ooh, all right. That's a pretty rough lineup. I don't know what Velocity is doing in absence of their top laner, but I guess we'll figure that out when the time arises. But I don't know. We're going into a lot of pressure here around this Baron area. I mean, GGLA looking to heat up the action. They do know. I mean, this may be when they start to realize, hey, we might be getting a little bit outscaled, so might want to turn up the heat and put on pressure in that Baron area. I mean, no wards on that Baron, so really they could just kind of walk there and take it down right now. Continue to put on the pressure, push out the lanes, and really not looking to start this thing too quickly. Is there a reason they are just like walking to Baron right now? It doesn't really seem like RXG are too aggressively checking that.
It's actually really hard to do Baron as blue side against purple side, because at any point Nunu can just flash over the Baron wall and consume smite the Baron if they get slow enough. So that's always a huge risk. It's really hard to zone people out from behind the back of Baron. So it's definitely harder to do as blue side than purple.
All right, yeah, that's a really good point. You do have that barrier behind you, and then you just kind of flash over. Really hard to take an objective against Nunu, so that's really kind of keeping GGLA from pressuring that objective. But, I mean, they're just going to go for a straight-up push down mid lane. Kind of caught in an awkward situation. GGLA can't quite get to their turret. I mean, there's no turret there. There's Lichbane now complete onto X Shepherd. That is going to be an incredibly high-damaging build. Use that Lichbane proc just to get some burst damage out. GGLA, they do land the biting the taunt to snare down onto Overship, completely countered out the ultimate, everything blown on Subu under the influence of that Kale ultimate. The burst coming out from Easy, flash away. They're gonna blow Easy apart. The damage coming out there, bumping up now. Will fall. Ulam in the back does actually wind up taking out Rise with the counter kill coming out from Shinon. It's a double for the follow up from Ulam. What is that? 4 for 4? No, 3 for 4. There for GGLA in favor of them. Holy cow, that's a lot of action. A nice catch, but what do you think actually turned that fight in favor of GGLA, Medios?
Yeah, that was a really crazy fight. Actually, I have to give a lot of props to Morgana for that one. He was able to zone 3 members just by himself by just walking up and ulting, and it really gave his team enough time to kill the Nunu and Rise, who were just hitting them. So it was a really good job by Morgana.
Yeah, nice snipe there by Shannon at the very end to pick off Ulam, who actually grabbed a double kill in that fight. And a great job by Bunny Fufu. You can see that we were kind of questioning where are we going to get the AoE for Morgana for Misfortune to channel her ultimate all over everything, but it's actually just Bunny Fufu. Like you said, single-handedly zoning out 3 members with just that ultimate, really giving Ulam a little bit of a better ult than you would have had with a different support pick. So, I mean, Bunny Fufu, man, I'm not hating on the support Morgana anymore. So it's definitely making it work. Goes for the whenever you build AP on like an AP based support, you're gonna go Morella Nomicon. Very effective, very cost efficient. 75 AP is actually pretty good for one completed AP item, as well as standard support itemization, and it builds out of Cage's lucky pick, so basically everything you could want. Right now we're going to clear out some Baron ward coverage there for RXG. We do have control of that objective for now, but after going into that last team fight, going up against GGLA, they may outscale them, but the way that GGLA are playing these team fights, actually working out really, really well.
Yeah, they'll still have a window when they can win fights, probably up until Rise finishes his build. He still needs 2 more items. I imagine they would be GA and Void Staff. That makes the most sense to get. And once he gets those, it'll be really hard for them to win, because MF's getting close to being capped out for power-wise. He can finish his PD and then get maybe a Mercurial or a GA. But then after that, he wants to really deal any more damage. So GGLA is still ahead for the time being, but like I said, they have to keep forcing stuff or they won't be ahead for that much longer.
We are going to see a Dragon go down, taken out pretty effortlessly. Wapachang and Ultima Zero are going to solo that out. But RXG, they are making very aggressive plays. They're positioning really, really strongly. Not strongly as in actually strongly, but really aggressively. They just push down that middle turret. There's like, hey, if GGLA want to pressure Baron, we're just going to walk down the middle lane and try to take their turret. Actually wind up trading pretty evenly across there and do have control over their own buffs, over their jungle. So that's something that you can kind of lose out if after your outer turret spall. Wind up giving that blue buff over to Toku Shifts. Actually, no, wait, where did that blue buff go? I was watching that. Went over to X Shepherd, so he's going to have a 36-second Kale ultimate. That's That's like almost twice in one team fight if it draws on long enough. So that is it's going to be really big because you've seen both of these team fights. That Kale ultimate has been absolutely huge, blocking a ton of burst damage last time on Tofu shift. So that's also going to be like a really big play up in this this next team fight, which probably will happen around Baron. It does not look like GGLA are really going to play this pushing game too much longer. All right, so except for just farming things out there, we got everybody kind of you know, all grouped up. They all realize, hey, we're not going to give the other team a free and clear Baron. It's going to be the word clear out there by Wapachang in that Baron pit. And that control once again back over to GGLA. Now, things going off into the enemy jungle there for RXG. I'm pretty sure that if GGLA just goes straight for that Baron, do you think RXG are just going to walk down the middle lane and go for the inhib?
I think it depends on the positioning and how close they are to it. I don't think they'll give up a free Baron unless they have to.
Yeah, they do have a lot of strength. They're trying to get this ward coverage back, but crazy pink ward control. 4 pink wards down there, right around that Baron area. Ward dropped over the wall there by Bubba, but won't be there for very much longer. You can see ward just cleared out once again. GGLA are not willing to relinquish coverage of this area. I mean, it's Baron. It's very important. It's going to be a very focal point of this next team fight. And like you said, Meteos, it's going to be all about which team can get their kind of strategy down there. Easy looking for the catch. Does he land the taunt? It actually does. He immediately cleansed out there from Shinon. He's in the very back. Pragmatic, though, kind of getting blown apart there. Wapachang flashing a little bit too far behind there, but does manage to get off the insect. Kills off Rise, the big factor. Rise was the danger for Ulam, but without that danger, Pragmatic going back to base. There's no smite, there's no consume on that dragon, or on the Baron rather. GGLA backing out, going straight for that objective. And really, it's only going to be the pressure over the wall from Bubba Dub. Ward's placed down there, can't clear them all out. Or can they? Or can they? Oracle's allowing them to, you know, take them out if they want to. Q lands the flash off the wall from X Shepard, unable to steal, has the kill ultimate. Maybe he'll take out Wapachang, does pick up at least 1 kill, but the damage to follow things up will be the last of his breath. Funny Fufu dodges, or does not hit the Dark Binding. Will wind up getting taken out there. Pragmatic gonna channel his ult with his dying breath. Will get sniped out there. Triple comes out from Ulam, a huge factor in this team fight. And Easy actually gonna use the last of his mana, trying to catch on to Shinon. Doesn't actually have anything else. Throws down the Ignite, another cleanse there. Actually, yeah, that was the cleanse. The QSS coming out earlier. Shinon actually saving that cleanse, gonna be able to get out alive with 26 HP. The last stick of Ignite would have finished her off, but cleansing before that, great job getting out alive.
Yeah, that was a really good play by GGLA. I guess they saw that kill wasn't close enough to mid, and they were able to get the catch on Rise without the kill. So that was really a good play.
Tofu shift going in there, gonna get taken out there for the follow-up damage on Ulam. You can see just has straight up more damage that time. Ulam goes on a rampage, looking to take out the first inhibitor of the game. Ulam will take that down. Backing on out, GGLA turning things around at the Baron. You wind up giving up a kill there on Ultima Zero, but take down Tofu shift at the same time. So holy cow, this is actually a little bit rough to deal with. For GGLA, I mean, able to turn things around like you were talking about, and I mean, itemization, it's pretty much capped out for Misfortune, but even though Caitlyn may outscale a little bit with that new Blood Boil, MF's still getting the job done. 13 at 2 and 10.
Yeah, Yulam's definitely playing really well. I'm kind of questioning Caitlyn's build. I don't know why he doesn't have a lot of assists for this point in the game. That's kind of troll.
I mean, when you look at the armor itemization, you see nothing but MR for Rise, nothing but MR for Caitlyn, no defensive stats on Zyra, no armor on Kale, and really only that Aegis of Legion, but that only gives the MR aura, so there really isn't any armor built on any single champion on RXG other than the Home Guard Ninja Tabi on Nunu. So why don't you build armor against the 13 and 2 MF, Meteos?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking you why there are literally 0 armor items for RXG when you have a 13 and 2 MF on the other team.
I don't know. Maybe they're imagining they can give him before they need it, but I can't really answer why they have no armor items.
Yeah, I was expecting them to have at least, you know, like an Aegis, except that turns out Aegis doesn't give armor anymore, so that's a little troll, not going any armor against that. But I guess a good response there for Misfortune, just building up tons of damage and recognizing that she's going to be a big player no matter what happens. So, I mean, that 13 and 2 is actually going to be a lot more prominent because, well, there aren't any defensive stats to counter out the damage. Meanwhile, you do see that's the completed Locket of the Iris Solari. I was looking for a Runic Bulwark, and I was like, wait a second. That doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, Locket's complete. It does give that MR aura. And you know, armor items are actually being built out. You see Seeker's Arm Guard on the support Morgana, so looking to get that Zhonya's, which is really going to turn this next team fight around. And really, it's going to save the misfortune. If you can keep MF alive in this next fight, if you can get a nice catch, MF's got the damage to follow up. Dark Bindings, skill shots coming out from over this wall. Bunny Poo clears out the Caitlyn traps. And really, when you're Caitlyn, sieging turrets against that Caitlyn, oh my goodness, the damage, the poke, the CC flashing out as well as that Kayle ultimate. Kind of baits out the MF ult, so I guess I could even trade there, but the damage still going to be going down there for Ulam. The poke in here onto the turret. And actually hadn't thought about that, breaking up Morgana as a counter to the Caitlyn turret siege. Because use Black Shield, walk over the traps. The continual CC chunking down Bubba Dub now. He's gonna have to back on this turret. Next wave coming up here for GGLA. The catch on the Tofu shift gets blown apart as well. The pick's so good for GGLA. It's gonna be Nuno going down off of an Ulam ultimate. Nice knock up there from Stranglethorns, but the push in here way too strong. Shepherd takes a lot of damage, does not have his ultimate available just yet, now off cooldown. Makes it out alive, but the push in here onto the bottom lane. Second inhibitor gonna go down in favor of GGLA.
Yeah, they did a really good job with just hitting their skill shots. They got almost every Morgana Vine and Charm to hit.
Yeah, that's going to be continual poke in there, but a little bit too aggressive. That's Wappa Chang and Easy getting taken out, but not until the second inhibitor falls for GGLA. They're getting the picks, and it really feels like RXG, like you mentioned, they kind of outscale things. They had a little bit of a stronger start to the game, but just the overall play just feels a little bit stronger for GGLA. Yeah,
I think GGLA is outplaying them mechanically. Another issue though with Reality Shark's team comp is they don't really have any form of initiation. Unless Rise wants to man up super hard and flash in on them, they sort of have to let themselves get initiated on with the Morgana and RE charms.
Yeah, and really they're going up against an entire team where really everyone but the AD carry can initiate on you. I'd love to see this run with like an Ashe so that, you know, any single person of the team can just make a pick across the board. Misfortune capping out on itemization. Actually has distortion boots for extra flash instead of fervor for chasing, which makes a really big difference because you're just looking for position. You don't really care about chasing on with auto attacks. Full itemization, 6th item Misfortune. 15, 2, and 10. Ulam's kind of putting the rest of the team on his back, but they're definitely picking up the slack. The catches from Buddy Fufu, man, that support Morgana I have never seen as manly as he wants to play it. And I guess that's, I remember in, I think it was EPS finals, or at least some of these C9 EPS games, at least one of them, I think. We actually did see Lemonation support Nasus, so sometimes.
Oh yeah, that was actually the first game I've ever played with Cloud9. I was playing Malzahar mid.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, what on earth is this guy doing? I was like, this guy's a freaking jungler. These guys are obviously complete noobs, and it looks like my prediction has become completely true as noobs.
Yeah, we're pretty bad.
I noticed that your LCS standings could really use some work, so probably should put some focus on that. It's okay.
Right now.
I mean, I just decided I needed someone to make me look better, so that's basically that's pretty much fair. All right. As troll as this game is, they're just seeing Pragmatic walk up and get blown apart. That's what you're talking about. Unless you want to man up and go for that initiate, you're not really gonna have too good a time. Willem walks out of the knock up there from Stranglethorns. Josh is on in there, trying to get the kill off onto Xtemper, throws down the ultimate, but it cannot last long enough. Ulam, though, getting blown apart. They're going to trade away most of the damage there, but the damage has been done. It's a 3-for-3 so far. Ultimate Zero going to get taken out by Tofu Shift. Actually, this Rise just mowing down the entire team. It's still a 4-for-4. And Tofu Shift going up against Easy. Easy without the health advantage tries to throw down the snare. Tofu Shift, man, this Rise, I don't know what happened in that team fight. Why did it not go quite so well for GGLA?
I think they must have just forgot about positioning as soon as they got that first Nunu catch, and MF somehow ended up in the middle of the full team next to a Kayle and Rise, and you're not going to last very long in that situation.
Yeah, the nice pick there. You were talking about the manliness, and actually Pragmatic getting taken out there at the beginning of the fight. It should have just been a nice 4v5, but Tofu Shift getting in there, getting the damage done, and really is starting to stack up on those items. Void Staff now completed, as well as some pretty heavy MR itemization there. Going for the new and improved Spirit Visage, gives you 10 more MR, double the health, and that's the nice health regen stacking up on top of that. It's going to be working out pretty cool, but still going to go for the Glacial Shroud now. Starting to get up a little bit more of that mana, only with about 3.2k instead of like the almost 4k that you'd usually see on some Rises by this point, but is pretty strong, is the damage factor. And Shepherd there as well had a nice ultimate to block out a lot of this damage, and I mean, I guess for RXG, I mean, if they can get the picks with Rise, if they can get the damage mitigation from that Kale ultimate, you have the possibility to turn things around. But I mean, GGLA, they're gonna have a take number 2 on this Baron, and I don't really think RXG are gonna be able to stop them.
Yeah, this Baron should be free. They're in really no position to contest it with 2 open inhibs and 1 dead inhib.
All right, so really, I mean, when you're in this position, I know Cloud9 they've gotten a lot of advantages, but you guys tend to play really like almost more safely once you're farther ahead. I guess is that just because you don't want to throw, you want to take things as carefully as you can?
Yeah, sort of. Basically, the only way you'll lose if you're ahead is if you mess up, and going for a risk is obviously just giving yourself a chance to mess up. So when you're ahead, you don't really need to force anything unless you get outscaled. And I guess GGLA has been doing a really good job of not letting this scaling be an issue just by catching everyone all the time.
With the Shrelias from Bubba but no initiation, because immediately, as soon as RXG tried to engage there, they got hit by two catches. They got hit by the taunt landed from Ari, and then you also have the Dark Biting from Bunny Fuku get in there. Now there is Stranglethorns on to Wappa Chang. Does get the Black Shield back out alive, just continuing to poke in here with the Spiderlings, with the pokes from both Ari and Morgana. Really effective, but I mean the inhibitor is healing itself back up, but the pressure is absolutely insane from GGLA. Minions pushing in the bot lane, GGLA pushing in the mid lane, and really the only question that GGLA have to ask themselves is which lane can they push? The answer is basically everything. They're gonna go in there, try to get the damage down. The snare lands onto Easy, really limiting that mobility. Does go over the wall. It's actually Wappa Chang trying to get it on there. X-Shepard actually able to protect himself for now, but the peel is actually pretty massive. Ulam in the back, all that CC blown, and now it's a Black Shield on a 16, 3, and 14 Misfortune. Wappa Chang going in there, trying to get the kill. We'll wind up trading 1 for 1, so it's actually 3 alive for both teams. Inhibitor did go down, but right now it's Shinon getting in there. What is that damage? 804 crit coming out from Ulam, and this is it's looking like it could be the end. 60-second death timer on Shinon, 40 seconds for the rest of the team, and only X-Shepard left alive for reality check. It's GGLA. They're gonna push in, take the safe route, take down all the outer inhibitors, which is like the only place that inhibitors actually exist. Take them all out, going for the kill. 30 seconds left on pretty much every death timer, pushing in onto the Nexus starts. First one will fall, second one gonna get taken out here. Not a whole lot that X-Shepard can do. Trying to go man mode, throws down the ultimate. Ulam actually, oh my goodness, still getting CC'd out there. Can't quite make it happen. The 1v5 not quite available. Nexus getting DPS, and that will be the 45-minute victory for Gold Gaming Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Nice.
wow, that's really well played by them.
Yeah, getting in there, actually zoning really well for Ulam, able to keep him safe. That's they really didn't do in that previous fight that they lost. Able to make it happen this time around, and that will be the game. Gold Gaming Los Angeles taking down RXG in the second game of the night.